Hey people, welcome to the channel. Stay for this video. It's going to be interesting. I'll be analyzing the survival manual published by the Polish government in their website. I want to do this from a number of European countries that have manuals like these. This is mostly because of the situation that they have with Russia, but also for getting prepared in case of natural disasters or other events as well. Keep in mind that all over the world we are in some interesting times, especially with the trade war that is very much ongoing, if not just getting started, and this will have a major impact in your life no matter where you are. Trust me on this. If you want to learn more about survival and preparedness, these manuals and pamphlets are nice, but really you want to get more information. I always recommend my books, Surviving the Economic Collapse, especially for the economic aspect of preparedness. Having gone through a full-scale economic collapse, what you see right now is probably more of a slow slide into a social and economic degradation, but the end result is going to be very similar, as well as through survival skills, a bunch of practical survival skills, and you have bugging out and relocating, always there in the links below in Amazon. The audiobook version of this one is newly released, so maybe if you prefer that, you have that option. The Polish website publishes survival guide in case of war. This is very much similar to other countries. I have the one that I talked about a while ago. This was years ago, actually. We talked with a Swedish prepper about this in case of crisis or war. I'll leave the links below if you want to download these, which is always a good idea. So going to the website, I ended up watching, I saw this one, which is all in Polish, but it is available also in English. So yeah, I'll leave that link there for the PDF. Get ready, Guide for Crisis and War. Literally the exact same title of the Swedish manual, which I think it's a good idea. It was a good job that they did. We talked about the women in charge of that back in that video. It basically divides it. It's going to be 36 pages, but very, very short each page. So it's mostly like a quick pamphlet, right? Like a little pamphlet more than an actual manual. Crisis and War. Crisis is a fast onset event and can threaten health, life, and society. War. It's interesting that they actually did a good job here. War is an armed conflict between states, nations, ethnics, or religious groups. However, there is no universally accepted definition of war. Contemporary definitions do not look at war as purely military phenomenon, but as interplay of domestic and foreign policy, economic, military, and information-related action. Guys, this is very short and to the point, but super important. I have talked about this before. I have said before that I think we are right now in a World War III situation. Oh, you don't know what you're... Yes, I do what I'm talking about, because I've been doing this for a very long time. My books on these topics are some of the most sold in not only English, Spanish, French now as well. There's a reason for that, because I do know what I'm talking about. I do have a point, and they confirm it with information like this. These manuals that Poland, Sweden, all of these countries try to make a very clear point. It's not just about a guy with an AR at your door. You know, that's a traditional definition of, an invasion like what happened in Ukraine. But we are in a moment right now where it's also economic. It's social. I can put a lot of damage convincing your population that you're no good, that your entire country is pointless, that your entire society has already collapsed, and you haven't already seen it. You don't think that's already happening? The traditional way of doing this would be World War II propaganda. Even beyond that, before that, way before that, it was already a thing. Propaganda, in the more traditional sense, is a plane flying over your homeland and not only dropping bombs, but also dropping pamphlets. American soldier, surrender. There's no point. Your generals have already surrendered to ours. Don't die for nothing. See your family again. You don't have to die here. You can go back home. All of these things convince people of just giving up. That is the more traditional way of propaganda. Then you have the more modern way, which is slandering, Twitter, X. Oh, look at these assholes. How many videos have you seen of the fake casualties in Ukraine? That guy is moving. The hand of that. He's an actor. He's a crisis actor. That's propaganda. That's convincing you that those guys are the assholes. Or those other ones are And that's how you're convinced. You're also being attacked propaganda in your own country. You're being misinformed about what's going on in other places. You're misinformed about what's going on in your own country because there's always vested interest in whoever it is that is providing this information. There's always going to be an agenda. There's always going to be an editorial line, if you don't want to call it propaganda. So be very careful about information, where it's coming from, what is being said, and always contrast that with information from other places. That's what I always do. When I see something that I'm kind of bullshitting me, right? I go to whatever the adversary of that is. If you're watching American news, watch some news from other parts of the world as well to have a different opinion, right? Or to have an idea of what propaganda actually sounds like. It goes into planning, into reduce material damage, increase safety of yours and your relatives and your family, helping others, identifying safe place, having a meeting point in case, a place where everyone can find one another. It is actually quite good. I went through all of this following the emergency services. In case of propaganda, identify where the information is coming from. Only go by what is being said through official channels. Know which official channels are those. Even radio, in case of occupation, it actually goes into occupation, something that you don't often find in these manuals. And there's little differences. Of course, the sound of alarms for going to bunkers in case of attacks, danger, what to do, staying home. One of the things I don't quite agree, well, we'll go into that in a second, helping others. What you can do to help others if possible, neighbors and people. It's pretty good. The stuff you need to put together into your evacuation pack, so it talks about an evacuation pack, not only a survival kit to keep at home, which I think is a very good idea. Little things like piece of string, things lost in translation, cash, very important, food, maps. Make sure your family members know where the emergency kit is located, and if 7 day preparing water for 7 days, 2 liters per day. I think that's a little bit short. I think that 3 liters, a gallon of water per person per day is much better for a full week. If you have even more, you never can have enough water. Water is crucial, and it's so easy and cheap to store right now. No point in not having it. Evacuation plan. Something interesting they do mention, something that I do mention here and in my books all the time, is if your plan includes evacuating to a certain area, make sure, which it should, in case you cannot stay there anymore, make sure you have the fuel to get to that specific location, right? And if you cannot have the fuel stored for whatever reason, right, at least always try to top up your tank and try not go beyond half a tank, right? If you have half a tank of gas always, well, you have it already there to go. And if you can store fuel, even better. Having maps, not only GPS, because it may go down, it may not be available, comfortable clothes when evacuating. I would include, which is not mentioned here, have the fitness level to walk an important amount of distance if that is required. Can you walk 3, 4, 5, 10 miles if you have to with a backpack? Have you done that recently? Well, you can do that on a hiking little day trip. Shut down water and secure your home before leaving. Turn off the water and gas valves, electricity, everything. Very much common sense stuff that you probably know of. What to do in case of crisis. Or in times of crisis and war. Watch out for people who are acting suspiciously. Try to gain your trust or gain sensitive information. Talking about invasion, guys, there, right? Occupation. What to do when you hear gunshots. Critical difference here between the Swedish approach and the Polish approach. Let's actually show what we mean here. So you probably know that in case of an attack, right? You have the guy with the AK-47. Who could it be? The guy with the AK-47. Run, hide, tell, right? Call 112 and report what's happening. Run, hide, tell. This is what that woman wrote when she would. This manual is okay. It is not the way I would do it. This is what I would do, right? This is not only what I would do, this is what I've been doing for many years in a number of languages right now with a very good amount of success, happily enough, right? This is what I do. This is what this manual tells. This is coming from the government. So you really cannot ask for a lot more. But the big difference is that in the case of the Poland manual, what they say is What to do when you hear gunshot during the shooting. Most important thing is run, right? So run, say. Hide. If you cannot escape, hide. If you have a good hiding spot, get in there. Make sure you're not found. But if you cannot, and if escaping and hiding is not possible, if you're cornered, if you're trapped, it doesn't say call 112. It says fight. Use all your strength and advantage. Don't be afraid to hurt your attacker. He is the bad guy. Your passivity can make the difference to the lives of many other people. Exactly. You can save your own life. You can save the life of others. That's why it's important to fight. Now, they don't mention it, but I do have those tools that you see right over there and that one over there, so that when you have to actually fight the bad guy, you actually fight in a more effective way. Not the kind of thing you will find in a government-issued, published manual, but the kind of thing that you will find in my own stuff that I've been doing for a long time. Biological, chemical, nuclear threat. All of this very much common sense and good stuff. Disinfect your hands. Probably things that you know already. In case of radioactive, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a nuclear bomb. Everyone dies. It's fallen like a video." No. If you've been, vaporized in the blast, sure, or everything around you, the structures collapsing, sure. But if you're not dead in the moment of the explosion in the first couple of seconds, there's a good chance that you can survive that. An important thing is stay indoors. Now, a thing that I don't agree quite so much is 24 hours. It says stay indoors for at least 24 hours unless otherwise instructed. Okay, if you have a radio, great, but I would change this number for 48 hours. Ideally, it would be in a bunker for 2 weeks. That's the perfect amount of time to stay in a bunker when there's a nuclear attack and you survive the initial blast. That's going to ensure that you have the minimal amount of exposure to radiation. But if you cannot stay that long, 48 hours is also very, very good. 48 hours, you have a very good chance of having a minimal amount of radiation, especially if you get away of there as fast as you can. But it's not about running away. If you're running away within the first 24 hours, you will receive very likely a lethal dose of radiation. You don't want to do that. 48 hours, your chances of survival when you leave the shelter where you've been is going to be a lot better. Power shortages, it goes into our stuff. Foreign soldiers, it talks about occupation as well, how you react. Don't take photographs. If you see soldiers on your way, change direction. Do not get close to foreign military cars. Do not look at any of the military equipment. Do not take photos or film soldiers. They may provoke them into and trigger aggression. Don't start arguing, you fucking asshole, you invaded my country. Don't confrontate with them. Get away from them. Stay in groups. Wear clothes. This is interesting. Wear clothes like what I'm wearing now. They actually show blue. Blue it's not this. If you're wearing camo, if you go by what every other YouTuber survivalist tells you to wear, you're going to get fucking shot. If you go by what I tell you, you probably won't. Why? Because this is civilian clothes. This is dark civilian clothes. When there's an occupation and you happen to be there, ideally, if you do what I recommend doing, if you prepare the way I recommend preparing, you're not going to be caught in a place that's been occupied. Ideally, not the case. Let's say it still happens. Well, dark blue. Dark blue is not even considered much military. If you're running around in camo, you're going to get shot. Very likely. If you're wearing even all black, you may be special forces guys running around doing stuff. If you have like very dark jeans, hiking shoes, also dark, and a dark blue, you're just a normal ass guy. You're nothing. You're no one, right? For someone looking for threats, you're just a guy, right? And that is the gray man thing in the context of occupation. But some people need to be told this. Don't start taking photographs. Don't start confronting and insulting and arguing, right? If you can escape, only escape if you're absolutely sure you can do it. Even when taking hostage, follow the instructions of the hijackers. Don't try to make conversation. Reply politely. Don't argue, beg. Don't explain. Don't make excuses. All of that only makes things worse. These people are willing to do what they're already doing. You will not find much pity from these people. Rest and sleep. Eat when you can. Only run away when your escape would be a success. I think it's a very good manual. Some basic stuff on first aid. And and it's a good manual, man. I think it's very much similar, a little bit better. I like it a little bit better than the one from Sweden. Obviously, someone was a little bit more aware that fighting and doing some of these other things is a good idea. But there you go, folks. If you want to learn honestly, really about all of this stuff, the channel, the books, in the links there below. See you on our next one. Have an awesome day.